Hi all, welcome to another video. Thanks for joining me. In today's video we're going to turn this checkbox into this, a toggle. So I've created a folder called checkbox toggle, and in here we're going to create an index.html and also a styles.css. Now if we go back to the index, we're going to put an exclamation tab, fills it all out for us. In here we're going to put a title, say checkbox toggler, save. Let's open that with live server, and here we go. So let's get rid of this, whatever that was, get rid of that, get rid of that. Okay, let's close this. Up here we can do a link and link to styles, if I spell it correctly, .css, but also I want to link to the Font Awesome CDN, so we'll go to CDN.js, find Font Awesome, and then we can press this icon here to do what it says, copy URL, go here, type in link tab, and in the href that's where we paste the link. So now we have access to Font Awesome over here. Obviously you'll need to go to the fontawesome.com website to browse the various icons. Okay, so we're all linked up. Now we need to get into the creating of the checkbox. If you don't know how to create a checkbox, it's fairly simple, especially if you've got Emmet, which is a plugin. If you've got Sublime, it's already in VS Code, but if you type in input, it will give you the choice of inputs, and we want checkbox. The name is what is referred to when you submit it to another page. The page you submit it to, if you're using a form, when you submit it, then that page will refer to this checkbox via its name. So it's always best to give it one. So toggle button, and I'm going to use the same for the ID. So if we save that, you can see we've got a checkbox, and obviously you can have as many as you want, but I'm going to wrap this in a label like this, and this label is going to be for this checkbox with the ID of toggle button. So we take that, put it in there, and anything we put inside label, save, will act on behalf of us for checking and unchecking. So I'm going to actually move this label down here, move that in, get rid of that, and our toggle design is going to go inside the label. So anything we click inside here will check and uncheck the box. So what do we want to put in here? We actually need the container first, so let's do that. Let's do a toggler class. So that's going to be the button, the whole thing where everything's contained. Then we're going to do a cross. We'll come back to that in a sec. We want a tick, and we want the actual slider as well. So toggler slider. Okay, so in the cross, this is where the Font Awesome comes into play. Let's go here, search cross, go down, select that, click to copy inside the cross, paste, save, and there it is. We also need to do the same for the check or tick, whatever you want to call it. Pick one, click to copy, and inside this div, paste that in, save. Okay. So we've got the cross, we've got the tick. This is purely for design purposes. You saw the tick and the cross behind set in the slider in the example I showed you before. So I guess we can get on with the styling. Firstly, we're going to reset everything as always. Padding 0, margin 0, box sizing, border box. If you keep an eye on these, when I click save, all the paddings and margins disappear. So we're in control, we know what we're doing. There's no unforeseen default paddings getting in the way. Right, for the body, you don't necessarily need to do this, but I just want to place everything in the middle of the screen so we can see what we're doing. So I'm going to say display, flex, width 100%, height 100, viewport height, align items center, justify content center, background color, it's going to be an RGB, 48, 46, 46. There we go. All in the middle, background's a darker colour, so we can see what we're doing. Okay, so checkbox slider. Checkbox slider. We're going to do toggler. Display. Block. Height 50 pixels and a width of 100 pixels. Save, you can't see at the moment, so let's give it a background colour. A default colour is going to be the red one, so background colour is going to be RGB 238 176 176. Save, there it is. If you can't remember what toggler is, it's the actual container of the switch. That's what we're styling. Anyway, border radius, we're going to do 25 pixels, and I'm going to change the cursor pointer, and we're going to do position relative. That'll become clear why shortly. And we're going to put a transition on the background colour over half a second, because it will change from red to green when it's checked. We want it to do it in a transitional way. So save that. Yeah, so the cross and the tick will have common properties, so let's take care of those. Cross and tick. We're going to do display, flex, align items center, and justify content center, because we want those crosses and the cross and the tick to be in the middle of this cross and tick container. We're going to do width 46 pixels, so we've got a couple of pixels space around it. Height 46 pixels. Background color, just want to make sure it is transparent, and I'm going to give it a border for a mo so we can see it. 1 pixel solid red, there we go, and then the border radius, of course, 50%. and I want to change the actual font size, and it is a font 1.6 as it says in the name, Font Awesome. There you go. Right, now we need to position those, so I'm going to do position, I'm going to do position here, position absolute, because they both need to be positioned absolutely. So you can see they're overlapping each other at the moment. So which one should we do first? I guess the tick. So with the tick, I'm going to change the colour to green. I'm going to change the left. I'm going to position it 2 pixels from the left, and also the same from the top. So it's more in the middle. And the opacity will actually start at 0, but I'm going to put it at 1 for now so we can see it. And then I'm going to have a transition on the opacity of also half a second. There we go. Now we need to do the cross, and the colour of that is going to be red, and we want the right to be 2 pixels, and the top again 2 pixels. Okay, it's looking more like it. And the opacity again is going to be 1, and we also want this transition on here as well. Okay, now I think we can remove that border. Okay, so the toggle slider, let's get that sorted out. Toggler, what did we call it? Toggler slider. Okay, there we go. Right, I could display this one as a block. There's nothing inside it or anything like that. So display block, height 44 pixels, again giving it space. Width is going to be the same. Background colour be an RGB. That's going to be 90, 95, 95. Save. There it is. I'm just going to put a Z index on that so we can raise it to the top. Okay. Oh yeah, okay. Things we need to do before that. Like, well, we'll give it a border radius first. Border radius 50%. Spell border correctly. Oh dear me, there we go. And we want a position absolute. This is why it wasn't working. Left 3 pixels, top 3 pixels. Save. There you go. It's now on top because the other ones were positioned absolutely as well. They took priority. So okay, so we click anywhere in here, and it checks and unchecks like we said it would. Now we just need to give it the transitional effects. Move this from left to the right. So let's note that up. Checked actions. So the actual toggle itself, the checkbox itself is called toggle button, and that's what we want to reference. So grab that. That was an ID, wasn't it? Yep. And we want to use the pseudo selector checked, which means obviously when it's checked, do the following. But when it's checked, we want to reference a few things. The first one being the slider. So this here, the button. But we need to go through and go toggler and then toggler slider, and then we can say left 53 pixels, save. And there you go. But that is not transitioning, so toggle button, so, beg your pardon, toggle slider, let's stick a transition on here, transition on the left 0.5 seconds, save. There we go. Right then, as you can see, the background is still red, which we don't want. When it toggles here, we want the background to be a pale green, and this pale red, pink, to be here when this red cross is showing, and it's unchecked. So let's do the green background first. Let's take this. Again, we want to go to the toggler, the actual container itself, and do background colour. I've got an RGB for this as well. 190, 241, 196. There you go. Also, when checked, I'll want to reference the tick. Again, we need to go through toggler and then tick. I want to say opacity 1. Now, if you remember, I left the opacity for the tick as 1, but by default it should be 0, because by default it's going to look like that. Obviously, if you're using JavaScript or whatever to, change the state, it's going to be a bit different. But save that. You can just see it fade in and out as it's checked and unchecked. We're going to do the same to the cross. So grab this. I'm going to change this to cross. And this is going to be an opacity of 0 if it's checked. So that should fade out when we click. Yep. Okay, and the final thing to do is to actually get rid of this checkbox that we're replacing. Obviously, we don't want to just delete it out of the HTML because it all references this. We need the check functionality to it, so we just need it to disappear. So let's do toggle button, which is the checkbox, and say appearance none, gone, save, and that should be it. So that'll do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Do appreciate it, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.